Hi there everybody, my name is Susie and I am a second year math student at Warwick. Today I was going to talk about some of the different jobs you can get on Warwick campus, because obviously as a student, getting money is always one of the most crucial things to you other than your studies. And although there are lots of different jobs you can get off of campus, in Leamington or in Coventry there are loads of businesses, so that's a very easy thing to do, very attainable. I have a lot of experience with working for Warwick, and quite a few of my friends have experiences too, so I thought it was just worth going over some of the things I've been doing, some of the things you might not have thought about, and yeah, I guess just giving a kind of semi-review of them. So before I actually start to go into the jobs that I've done, I guess just as a rough overview, most of the jobs at Warwick, from what I've seen, work through this website Unitemps, which is a way of basically like logging the hours you've worked, and then submitting the timesheets and then getting paid for those hours. So most of the work is done on an hourly basis. The pay that I've got has mostly been around £10 an hour, which is like semi-decent. It's all been quite, I'm going to say like low effort work, so I think £10 an hour is definitely fair enough. And into the specifics, obviously, number one, I am a student blog for the university, so this is a very minimal hours one, because it's only producing either one video or 2 written blog posts a month, which obviously, it does take some creative energy and some effort to do, but it's very nice. It fits around my studies very easily. That one I've really enjoyed so far, because you have to kind of set your own timetables and set your own structures. I know that I've definitely kind of come to the end of the month sometimes and realised that I haven't done a video, so I've had to like rush to get that done. So if you're someone who needs structure to work, something like this where it's more project based than hours based might not be ideal for you, but I think it's a really like fun, creative way of representing the uni and giving some of my opinions to people out there and hopefully helping them make an informed decision. Another one that comes along with this is I work as a UniBuddy ambassador for the website. So for prospective students, there is a website called UniBuddy, where essentially you can message students from the university and ask them your questions. So you get that, direct connection to them. You can ask them directly. I'll include the link to talking to me below on UniBuddy if that is something that appeals to any of you guys. But again, that's something where when people message me, I reply. I'll just sign into the website. I'll get the notification through. So that one doesn't have any fixed hours. That's sort of just like I have to reply to people as and when, and get paid to give people advice about the university, which is always very fun. Taking a step away from the university ambassador stuff, something which I think is very popular with people and isn't specific to Warwick Uni, but I have worked through Warwick Uni, is tutoring. Tutoring is something in general that is an excellent way of making money for students, and especially most people, I think, at university level, I've seen people teaching GCSE and A-level. So especially if, as an example, I'm a maths student, so I was tutoring maths and I was tutoring A-level maths, and obviously that's something I've gone through. So you can really relate to those kids, but also you are good enough at the subject that you can feel confident when doing that. That's something where it's really good like to pick your own hours if you're working through, one of these like independent sites. But if you work through directly the university, because the university does a lot of outreach into other schools, the thing I was involved in particular was we have an outreach programme to Year 12 and Year 13 students who are preparing for things like the STEP exam, the MAT exam, any of the kind of maths admissions exams you need to go to university. So it's something that, a lot of secondary schools don't teach or don't have the capacity to teach. So that was something where for a couple of months, it was 2 hours every week. The students would come to the university, I'd go to the university, I'd help out. There would be like a proper teacher there who was working through the material, and my job was just to support them. So, I didn't have to provide any of the materials. I was given the answers, so I could just kind of go around like helping them, working through all the material, helping them understand the material. And it was just a really nice way to kind of engage with engage with students who I guess have gone through stuff that was very similar to what I was going through. So again, you know, making that difference to their lives, hopefully, but also knowing at the end of the day that I had those 2 hours per week, which doesn't necessarily sound like a lot, and for me was very good that it wasn't, because I've had a very, very busy time as a student. I've always found that I've been like pushed for hours. So to have a job through the university has always been really lovely, because they know that you're a student. They are prepared to, you know, they won't schedule as much during exam season, or if you're saying, you know, I've got all these assignments come up lately, like I need help, I need support on this, then they'll be like, okay, we'll get someone to cover your shift. Like lots of stuff for that. I think they've always been really understanding, whatever department I've worked with. Whereas, you know, some companies who aren't run by universities obviously might not have that understanding. Another way you might know me, and another one of the jobs I've had the pleasure of taking up, has been with the marketing team at Warwick. I mean, obviously these days, anyone who has a website, anyone who has any kind of online presence needs to have some people to film and create the content for that, and that is something that I have been involved in certain extents. Personally, I've done some videos for the Instagram, I've filmed a video for the maths department, and I've also taken part in a couple of photo shoots. They've just been used for generic promotional material, so you might have seen that on the website. And I also know friends who've done things like voiceovers, they've done Instagram takeovers, they've done, you know, all sorts in general. This is one of those gigs, again, which is they only really will contact you as and when they need people, so there's no confirmed things, but it's quite nice that, I mean, I think I went along to one photo shoot that took me 10 minutes and I was paid £20 for that, which I was quite excited for. That was a fun time for me. It's another really good thing just in terms of once you're on their list, once you're on their radar, so to speak, then they will start coming back to you for lots of opportunities, which I think is something that I found in general working for Warwick, that once I've got one job for Warwick, that's then opened the doors to so many other things. Like once someone knows your name, they will absolutely go out their way next time they need a person to ask you because they've already worked with you. So lots of opportunities going around. Lovely time all around. The final department I've worked with has then been the library, which has been incredible to work for because, I mean, it's a lovely place to be. It's one of my favourite places on campus, so to get to go there at a frequent time has been awesome. I'm really enjoying it. And I've worked at the library kind of in two ways. The first has been something called the Library Gamification Project, which I can't really say too much about just because we're only in the initial stages of it, but we're trying to use essentially technology and, you know, more game-based learning than, you know, your traditional, dare I say, boring learning, just to try and get people engaging in the library in new and interesting ways. Hopefully that will be implemented in the near future, but as I said, it's still really in the beginning processes, so who knows where it will end up. But something that is a more concrete change that I've been making and time that I've been spending in the library has been recently as a Study Happy ambassador. If you're not aware, the Warwick Study Happy is essentially just trying to, as the name suggests, make sure that people are happy when they're studying. So it's running lots of sessions that are to do with your wellness, your well-being. They run some with Warwick Sport, so to get you active and moving whilst you're revising. Some creative, some about mindfulness. Just in general, trying to make sure that students' morale, students' energy is up and high, and that, you know, we're all having a good time. So my role in all of this is essentially just to go along to the sessions, to help set them up, pack them away at the end, and, you know, just whilst the session is going on, make sure that the people who come along are engaged and having a good time and you know what's going on. Because I only just got hired, I mean like a couple of weeks ago, I haven't had the time to go to that many sessions yet, but it's been a really fun process so far, the session that I have gone to, and also it's another one of those ones where, you know, you can get up to 6 hours a week or something like that, I think. But it's, you know, it's a first come first served basis for signing up for shifts. So if you have a busy week, you don't have to sign up, which is something I've really appreciated in the middle of exam season, that obviously there are some weeks where I'm not going to want to sign up. So, okay, so that marks the end of the jobs that I personally have experienced. I've got some friends who do some other jobs through Warwick, so I thought I'd quickly run over those, but obviously I can't comment entirely. I can just kind of comment on what they've told me. First of all, I've had some friends who, you know, they're more in the CS and the technical direction, I guess, have worked on things like websites and Moodle pages for modules. So that's just they're taking the content that any of these lecturers are putting out, they're reformatting it into a way that's easy for students to understand, and then they're pushing it out. That's been, I think it was a very, like, relaxed time for them. I think they didn't have too much time pressure, but obviously not for everyone. Something that I guess is a lot more approachable to people is working at one of the cafes or restaurants or clubs that are on campus. I've had quite a few friends do this in different capacities. This one is a bit more time consuming because they normally do want you to work longer shifts and more regular shifts. And also, if you're not the most social person, especially the clubs are probably not going to be ideal for you because from what I've heard, it is quite intense. But it's definitely more fun, or it's definitely better for some people to have, you know, longer hours locked in, especially if money is something that might be a concern to you. Then knowing that you have those hours and that exact time that you're going to be working those hours is always going to be more reassuring. I have a friend who works at the esports centre as well. That's just in terms of making sure that everything is running smoothly, making sure that people know how to log on, how to play the games, how to, you know, do whatever. A very casual time. I'm very, very jealous that she got that job because I kind of wish I could have it. But again, quite long hours sometimes, especially because the esports centre opens quite late, so sometimes she's having to commute home fairly late. And finally, one that only kind of comes up, I don't know, a couple of times a year is working the open days. So whenever Warwick has an open day, you need the student guides to be showing people around, to be shuttling people to and from various train stations or airports or bus stations or whatever. And you need people just like leading talks and stuff. So whenever those days are happening, students can get hired to get involved in those. I think the role is called student ambassador or something. That's good because it's a lot of work, but it's in very concentrated chunks. So you'll work a couple of days, you'll work some very long shifts, but the rest of the year you don't have to worry about it. So just kind of nice to pad out your time. So those are all the jobs that I have seen worked at Warwick campus. I'm sure there are a lot more, and Warwick is almost always hiring. So if you would like to pick up a job at Warwick over your time here, or if you're thinking of applying to Warwick and money is something you're concerned about, then there are definitely options out there. Overall, I've had a mostly pleasant experience with it. I'm trying to think of any negative things that I've really encountered. Nothing that has been specific to Warwick itself. I mean, definitely I've had some interesting encounters with various people that I've worked with or worked for, but I think that's sort of in the same way that you'll get in any job where, you know, sometimes you have slightly rude customers or something. It's not anything that you can't handle. But the flexibility has always been great, the pay has always been great, and the other students who were on the course, or who are working that role, I should say, they've always been absolutely lovely. So it's been nice to kind of meet, especially when I was tutoring, I was meeting a lot of math students. And that's always fun, that's always really enjoyable. So I hope this has given you like a nice overview of what you can expect, what you can do, and some of the different pros and cons of some of the jobs. If you have any questions, please leave them below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching.